you want the kids talking in there, or do you want them silent? And I can guarantee if you want them silent in there, they're not talking in class. So there better be. So let's set a goal. How many kids are in there? 220 kids. So, okay. How about we set a goal that said that those 220 kids will not make any more noise than 220 teachers sitting in there. Oh, you know what they did? They called me a smart ass. Yeah. And I said, well, the truth is, I don't know how to get kids to act better than adults. Yeah. So we have got to get serious about what's going on in there. But how is it being handled so far? Well, we have supervisors. How many do you have? 2 supervisors. Guess where the 2 supervisors would stand?
In the corner talking?
In the corner talking. Okay. And then things would get out of hand, and then they go ballistic. So, well, then we need different kind of supervisors. We need supervisors who are trained to be moving, and never talking to each other. And that's part of the job. Moving, touching the kids, you know, that kind of thing. Drag their arm across, the back of their hand against kids' shoulders and things like that. How are you doing? You know, just constantly being friendly, a friendly adult presence. And then, if something goes wrong, go over and talk directly to the kids where it's going wrong, rather than shouting across and getting a lot of attention. Well, we also found that the supervisors getting upset was so entertaining for all the rest of the kids, you know, and they would play. And that's not true in just that one school. That's true in every school. Also, kids need to be trained about group behavior, and they need to be trained individually in their rooms. You know, by the teachers, that when a group of people get together in a room, they start talking. They start talking in normal voices, and as this happens, the voices start getting a little bit louder. So then they have to talk louder to be heard. And then it gets louder and louder and louder. So that's normal dynamic for any group behavior, is that it just keeps elevating. And we need a signal of some kind that says, kids, it's now time to start over with the low voices, rather than, hey, you guys are all wrong, or you're being bad, that kind of thing. So training in the classroom about that it really is okay to talk. It is really natural for these things to happen. It's natural for it to get louder. And there's going to be some kind of a signal, like a flip of the switch, which says, yeah, now we need to start over. And the people who are supervising should expect that we may need to start over 5 or 6 times during the lunch hour. Another question becomes, how long are the kids in there?
Half hour.
Half an hour.
Half an hour. Okay, so you put the kids in there for a specific amount of time and say you have to be in there for a specific amount of time. I think even your lowest IQ kids can figure out, we can get kicked out of here and we don't have to spend the whole 30 minutes. Yeah, see? So ideally, and what's worked for us over the years, is that kids, you come in, eat, you take care of your stuff, go on and move on out. You know, and out in the playground.
They don't need 30 minutes.
They don't need 30 minutes, but 30, I mean, kids have a hard time looking at each other for 30 minutes. I mean, we had an inner city school, and the kids could not play together for an hour. We used to have our lunch hours. They couldn't handle that, getting along with each other for that amount of time.
And the grade level difference is really an issue.
So we may need to look at how we're staggering lunch hours and all that kind of thing, so that kids are moving in there, doing what they need to do, getting cleaned up, and moving out.
I know, here.
Okay. And then what we did with this playground, where the kids just couldn't get along with each other,
Now it's giving me letters.
we set up a number of different opportunities for them to move back and forth during the playground time. So one of them was we had basketball going on in the gym, and another one was we had things going on the playground. We also had a checkers and chess room going on, and we had a place where they could just go and visit. So they would, just, whenever they got tired of what they were doing, move on to another. And more like what would happen to adults in the real world, right? So those are things to be thinking about on that. What kind of questions does that elicit?
Well, I think we need like a holding place for when we're done with the cafeteria, a place we can go and just hang there until we're ready for you guys to come in. But I don't know, we're renovating our building right now, so we're in modular units.
Okay.
And so things are a
Modular
little,
units that are on our playground. So we
things
have
are a little shaky right now.
Yeah,
The cafeteria
okay, so no playground.
The gym, right,
That
half
could
the gym,
become a
yeah.
problem. I remember one year we did that, and then the water table raised, and then we had all kinds of mud. And everybody was pretty happy until springtime. And then suddenly, if the principal would only care, this whole thing would have been taken care of by now. I remember that was not a fun time for the principal. The interesting thing about supervision, when it took over that particular school, the kids had to stay outside in the morning. They got off the buses, they had to stay outside until a certain time, then they lined up and they were brought in. In other words, the message was, this is not your school, this is a place for the people. Okay, so I said, let's let the kids just come on in. I mean, this is a place where it's cold in the morning. Let them come in and let them do what they want to do. You know, come in, visit, wander around, go down to the cafeteria, get their lunch tickets, you know, go visit with the teacher. And the teachers were upset, well, we can't all be out there supervising. And I said, I'm not sure they need that much supervision. So you be getting ready in your rooms, and the kids will be in, milling around. And if somebody starts to act up a little bit, you just go over and say how sad and send them outside, you know.
Yeah.
So that's what we were doing. And we did it for 10 years. And then we started looking at our discipline areas of problems around the school. The one place where we had to do hardly any discipline at all was the place where we had no supervision going on in the morning. The kids weren't having to entertain the teachers, or, you know, there were not people standing around like prison guards glaring, looking for something wrong. And the kids just acted like normal people during this morning, so there wasn't anybody to hassle about that. Well, new assistant superintendent came in and saw that, and she said, who's supervising all this? And I said, the kids supervise this. That'll never work. I said, oh, it's been working for 10 years. What's happening now that it won't work? Well, I called the smart ass again. The supervision in that cafeteria has to look like it's not supervision. It has to look like it's friendly adult presence. So I don't know how to solve your problems about the configuration and where the kids are going to go during this. That's short term.
Yeah.
But what we want to do is head for opportunities for the kids to eat, clean up, have friendly adults around visiting with them, and move on out to the playground as soon as possible.
Did you have a place in your cafeteria that kids that weren't able to sit and eat, I mean, a Bora Bora in the cafeteria, or no?
Okay, yeah. Once in a while, I have to remove a kid over to the side. And we give them a choice about whether they'd rather come and sit back at this table back here, or would you rather go on outside? And most of the time, they would rather just go on outside, and they didn't finish their lunch. And if a parent got upset about that, they said, yeah, I wonder why you made that decision. You know him better than I do.
That's a good one.
But, yeah, and then we had a few kids who lost their lunchroom privilege. And the way it was handled all the time was, oh, this is such a bummer. Where are you gonna eat now that you can't eat in the cafeteria? You have to find a place in the building that